Three, 1 2 1 2 3, please. Give me some more, a little bit more, a little bit more on the
Check,
ones
check,
and
check,
twos.
check. Hey, hey,
Okay, good,
hey,
good.
hey,
1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, one two
hey,
three,
hey.
1 2 1 2 1 2. There
Hello.
I am.
Hey,
Good. All right,
everybody.
we are ready to rock, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kinetic Impressions. I am Arnie Diaz, my dude.
Yeah, I'm Andy.
There we
Andy.
go. We're gonna get it right one of these days, ladies and gentlemen. We promise. We promise. All right, today's show, we got a nice show for you today. All right, today's show, we will talk the decline of the movie theater industry. It has been a long journey this year, and 2020 has a lot of victims, and the movie industry is definitely wrought with many of them. And then additionally, Black Panther 2 has reportedly sealed a production start date. No word yet on how they're going to deal with the Chadwick Boseman absence. Deadpool 3 reportedly is going to remain rated R. And then 21 Jump Street star Channing Tatum has not officially yet, but apparently been tapped to star in a Universal monster movie that will be produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller of Spider-Man Spider-Verse fame. And then finally, a 21 Jump Street movie starring an all-female cast that might be starring specifically Tiffany Haddish and Aquafina might be on the way. All right, so just to get into it, guys, I'm going to read a slight essay that I wrote about the movie industry decline. This is all based on a bunch of articles that I read and just kind of an overall synopsis of what's happening right now in the movie theater industry. All right, so without further ado, a summary of the film industry decline. The movie industry has, the movie industry has rallied. The movie theater industry for the last. Can't get back. The coronavirus pandemic has a lot of victims, and currently the movie theater business has also been hurt, just like many other service industries. According to the IndieWire, only 25,000 theaters were open this past weekend, which is a steep drop from over 32,000 that were open this past weekend. That amounts to a loss of 700 theaters in just 1 week, with the combined box office haul for all those movies ranging around $7 million. That makes a per screen average of just $500. That figure for multiplexes with 8 or more screens means that they cannot cover their operating costs. There are some promising signs for the rest of the holiday season, as The Croods: The New Age and Wonder Woman 1984 will see releases in theaters. The latter will also see release on HBO Max at the same time. And despite restrictions across the country, there are still movies being released in theaters, such as the swamp horror comedy Frankie that was released a week ago was the only movie to break $1 million over this last week, with a total box office haul of $1.2 million. It also becomes quite dire. The situation also becomes quite clearly dire as you realize that a $1.2 million haul makes it still to the top of the box office charts. In the second spot, there was The War with Grandpa, a movie that actually jumped from number 3 from the previous weekend to number 2 in the past weekend. The War with Grandpa, starring Robert De Niro, is also the number 3 highest grossing movie, this movie, which is the last, Let Him In, starring, The War with Grandpa, which was this last movie that was number 2, is also the only movie since Tenet to break $16 million, which also basically makes it, in the situation we're in, holidays tend to have the biggest box office haul, so we're seeing a decline of almost 1/10 the amount of money that a movie would have made in the time that War with Grandpa starring Robert De Niro has come out. Rounding out the last two movies that are on the charts, the thriller Let Him Go, starring Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, hit the third spot with only $710,000. And number 4 is a horror movie called Come Play, which has a $500,000 box office. One tactic that a lot of the movie theaters are trying right now is that they are allowing certain markets to allow for private screenings, such as AMC, Cinemark, and Alamo Drafthouse are all doing a pilot program where they are allowing moviegoers to rent an entire theater out for a movie. Currently in Texas, we don't get AMC's, but we definitely get Cinemarks and Alamo Drafthouse. Uh, and to round out this segment, two quotes from two articles that I read that are really interesting. From CNNBC, in recent days, all major cinema chains released quarterly results that showed a mounting loss of nearly 100% of revenue that has been wiped out as auditoriums sat vacant for months on end. With the COVID-19 cases still rising in the U.S. states are likely to encourage citizens to venture, are not encouraged to allow customers to venture out. From The Verge, nearly half of the world's cinemas are now reopened. It's in some capacity, according to the data from a UK-based statistics company. And they say about 12,000 theaters are open, with more than 90% of those being in the U.S., which is interesting. Also, there have been some reports of certain companies like Amazon and or Walmart actually possibly buying some of these kind of lower end, like Cinemark, not AMC's of the world, but like Cinemark and Tinseltowns, like them buying up these theater chains. But that has not amounted to any actual purchase press releases. So there you go. It is.
Was that the whole article? Damn, man, that was long.
No, that was just a summary that I read. I hope it read well.
That was a long ass summary, man.
Yeah.
Hope
yeah,
we
man.
Still have anybody? Dude,
yeah,
that's
man.
That's a long. That's a lot of heartbreaking losses, man. I mean, like, we should really feel bad about these movie theaters. Like, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough one to get back in track.
It's gonna be, yeah. It's gonna be. I mean, the movie theater industry is just not gonna look the same. It's just not. The movie industry itself is probably not gonna look the same at all. I don't know what theaters would. I don't know if when we come back, if movie production houses, your fucking Warner Brothers, Sony, all these like big movie production companies, I don't know if they're going to fall back on a only release out in exhibitors, right? And only release out in theaters, right? I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I think there might be a hybrid system, depending on how many theaters actually are around, right? Like if 50% of the theaters close in the country, that does amount to a loss of 50% of revenues from before. So like you can imagine a world where like we're just going to see these like soft releases out in theaters, but then decreased release window so they can go directly to VOD, or just release them in VOD at the same time,
Well, it's things like Tenet, like Tenet was
Yeah.
Who knows when it's going to be actually on DVD. I was looking back on the Dunkirk release dates, and Dunkirk almost came out on Blu-ray almost a year, a full, like, it was either 10 or 11 months. It was close to a year before it actually got released to any sort of disc, and for it to be viewed at home. Oh, I'm sorry, streaming. It was almost a year. I think it was 6 months until I got to DVD. So like the movie theaters or the movie houses, like you were saying, they don't really want to release things straight to on-demand streaming in the past. There were certain movies that they wanted to milk it for as much money as they could. And I don't know, like with this says a lot with Wonder Woman finally coming in and saying, cool, we're gonna go ahead and release streaming with the theatrical release. I don't know, that's only been done in this pandemic, but I don't know, has it ever been done before? It's really interesting because with this whole Wonder Woman aspect, now people are actually going to be able to choose. Before it was just like you were saying, hey, I'm not going to, we could take the whole family out to the movie theater, but it's going to be an expense, but it's worth that expense to see it in the movie theater.
Yes.
Those people we're going to, hopefully those people will still go see it in the movie theater, but there's going to be a lot more who lean towards, well, I'd rather just watch it in the comfort of my own home. I think I have a better, with Black Friday TVs on sale and sound systems and stuff, I think I can have a better system at home, and we can pause the movie and go make popcorn. It is going to be all around a cheaper experience of me just, paying my HBO Max subscription that I probably already own at this point because I am stuck at home. That says a lot to the movie industry of honestly allowing this. If these theaters wanted to survive, I don't think they should even allow something like this to happen.
Well, that's not, well, that 100%, and it should be noted that there has been a fight. There has legitimately been a fight between movie studios and exhibitors, for sure.
Well, there's been the whole boycotting, like anything that was going to be streaming, they were boycotting the movies.
I
Pixar,
forget.
right?
Yeah, I forget which movie studio did this, but Riggs Exhibitor said this, but I think when Pixar released their movie Soul, I think Tinseltown said that they will no longer exhibit Disney movies.
I think it was AMC, man.
AMC, was it AMC? I don't think it was one of the big ones, but I could be wrong. But there was that situation.
I got a little blurb, if you don't mind. Yeah. AMC, the U.S.'s largest cinema chain, has said it will refuse to show movies released by Hollywood studio Universal. The latter had just declared it would continue to release films simultaneously via cinemas and streaming after the coronavirus pandemic restrictions are lifted. And this is coming from this is coming out of The Guardian. This is just an article that I just pulled up out of The Guardian, and it's just because a quote from the AMC CEO Adam Aron: Universal's unilateral actions and intentions have left us with no choice. Therefore, effective immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. And he's just responding to comments that Universal CEO said in the Wall Street Journal after the video on demand of Trolls release world tour. So we could be even speaking of two different instances, but I was just referring to this one.
For sure. No, but that's 100% a good example of what's happening. There really is a fight happening. And in this environment, that's just the thing that happens in business. And especially, it is literally, it's a pandemic. It's one of those things that causes things to boil over into these situations. Yeah. I don't know what the industry is going to look like after it, but it's definitely not going to be the same. Go ahead.
No. I was going to share with you that the article that I was talking to you about earlier is the co-founder of Alamo Drafthouse in Austin. He's going to auction over 1,000 limited prints of Mondo posters. Do you know Mondo?
Yeah. Those will sell.
Yeah, those are actually, and for anybody who doesn't know, Mondo, the American company, is known for releasing limited edition screen printed posters for films, television shows, and comics, as well as vinyl movie soundtracks, clothing, and apparel. So these are kind of rare. That they only make a very limited edition of this sort of movie posters. If you just Google best Mondo posters, you're gonna find I don't know if it's Mondo or Mondo. I'm sorry, I'm saying Mondo so much, but my brother's name is Mondo, and it's spelled with an A, so like the O throws me off. But it is Mondo Grass. Like Mondo Grass is spelled like that too. So anyway, side note. This company is based in Austin, and their parent company is Alamo Drafthouse. So it's obvious why they're doing this, but he is trying to auction this money off so that anything to keep this theater alive. Alamo Drafthouse, as a lot of people, some people may not know from rural parts or just anywhere in the Northwest, pretty much. It's just one of those theaters that just opened up as a smaller theater with some couches, and then they started doing the whole studio movie grill thing. and they've done it way better than the other dine-in movie theaters. So I think they've done it so well that they've expanded into places that nobody thought they'd ever get out of Texas. So
For sure. Yeah, I think they've been killing it. They had recently just opened in L.A. About I think it was 2 years ago.
yeah, 1 year ago in
so.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
1 year ago in Manhattan, and then I think 2 or 3 years ago in Brooklyn, which was the first ever on the East Coast or Northeast area.
No, for sure. And I definitely heard people talking in the movie review, movie news space, like a bunch of YouTube people that I follow. We're all talking about who live in that area. We're all talking about how excited they were about going to the Animal Draft House.
Yeah,
This legendary Texas, Austin, like gem going out there. Which Animal Draft House, such a sweet experience. It's the only place I go to the movies when movies are going on, just because it's like, honestly, it's not that unreasonably priced. You go all the right days, the right times, and you can have a fucking beer.
well, before this pandemic, man, I used to have the AMC Movie Pass, right?
Yeah.
Which got you that. And right before this pandemic ended, I was so excited because Alamo Drafthouse finally got it, and I could finally go to an Alamo Drafthouse. And the nearest one for me is 8 to 10 miles away. It's kind of out of the way. It takes me far too long to get there for something that's 8 miles away, and I go there. I go out of my way just to go there because I love the atmosphere. I love how clean it is. If I get food, I love the food there, and it's just it's a great experience. It's the way I say it's the only way for a movie going experience, that and the better AMC's around.
For sure, I applaud Alamo Draft House for doing something, and showing like this is a good indicator of where the industry is right now, right?
Yeah.
I think here in the DFW area where we're located, I think most large-scale movie chains are going to be fine, just because we live in Texas, and Texas is shut down. But there's so many people and most businesses are still allowed to run and function at pretty much any capacity. I mean, the bars are open here completely. So I think they're going to be fine here, but there's definitely a lot of places out in America that a lot of these smaller movie theaters are not going to be around, and obviously the movie industry as a whole is not going to be the same. I think the biggest thing here is like to understand that how a movie gets released, right? A movie exhibitor gets, basically, depending on the movie, right? If it's a really big movie, like say Avengers, any of the Avengers movies, they do basically a 70 what is this what is a 70-30 split or something, right? They do a 70-30 split, right? But if it's just like a regular movie, it's 50%, right? So when you see box office, it's literally only basically half, unless it's like a really big tentpole movie that exhibitors and movie production houses can make a different deal. Anytime it's like, it's not even all tentpole movies, man. Like, if it's Avengers, it's gonna get a different deal. But if it's like say, got Battleship or like John Carter of Mars, these kind of like tentpole movies, but not like big, not proven franchises. They're basically a 50-50 split. So if you think about it that way, then that means that the first movie that made it to the #1 box office only made it's $1 million this last weekend. Only 500,000 of that goes to the movie theater, goes to the movie production houses, right? Whatever studio made that movie. So I think the model is going to be broken. I think the industry is just going to have to change and evolve. And I hope that these jobs get saved in some way from the Biden administration. I don't know, it's crazy how this country everything's still up in the air. We don't really know how things are going to pan out. There's going to be another stimulus bill, probably. But fucking Congress is on vacation, and that's definitely something we need to talk about too. Like, our government has not helped the service industries, and they're just not, in this moment in time, they're just not going to.
Yeah, especially the arts. Yeah, especially the arts. But anyway, let's talk movies. What's next on the agenda?
For sure. All right, so straight up, next coming up, Black Panther 2 has reported from various sources. I'm going to read a summary from these. The Black Panther sequel has a start date. They're going to start filming sometime in Atlanta in July 2021. There has not been a specific press release, but multiple sources are saying that it's going to happen then. And there really hasn't been any news on the production side on how they're going to address the Chadwick Boseman situation. But it is pretty much well stated that the whole cast is coming back. And the only big other news about the project is that a Mexican actor has been tapped to play a major antagonist in the movie. His name is, I believe it is Tencho Huerta. He has notably been in Narcos. Shout out to the fact that he is a dark-skinned Hispanic person. We don't really get that many representations out there. Shout out to dark-skinned people. But there really hasn't been any other news on what the story is going to be. Drew, did you like the first Black Panther? I thought it was really, 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 really good, right? It was a really solid first movie. It definitely followed the same tropes that most first movie, Black Panther movies follow. But I thought it was really super solid. I think the performances were outstanding. And I think the ensemble was really good. The directing was solid. What were your thoughts on the first Black Panther?
Yeah. So yeah, I think you were right. Tenoch is the way you say this guy's name. Tenoch Huerta. If I can get my R's warmed up today.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, sorry, to answer your question, I love Black Panther. Black Panther was a great movie. I think it's what the country needed at that time. I think we need something along those lines. I feel from year to year, 2017 to 2018, Wonder Woman is exactly what we needed from that time. And the next summer, I feel like Black Panther is what we needed. I still kind of tear up when we heard the news of Chadwick Boseman. I literally choked up just over an article being read over the radio.
Man. It was such a gut punch.
He did to young Black children currently, young African American children all over the world right now, like that. To say that they finally get a superhero that is their skin tone, it says so much, and it says so much for the same for Wonder Woman, and the whole Marvel universe. Like that says that women can be super too, and for us to now say like it doesn't matter what color you are, you can be a superhero as well. That always chokes me up when I say that Chadwick Boseman had a lot to do with that. I think of him always in that heroic sense. Sorry to get a little off topic, but I loved Black Panther. I think it did great. It definitely set the bar really high. I think you were telling me, I hate to steal it out of your mouth, but that Killmonger was the biggest. Killmonger was like his biggest foe. So like for them to go well, like what is next? Like what can be next?
Absolutely.
Like what do you think is going to happen in the series, man? I have my own ideas. I want to hear yours first.
I love everything you just said. That was fucking great, poignant, and absolutely needed to be said. It was a fantastic film, a seminal moment in culture, right? It was amazing that we got to actually witness that. It was such a high culturally that I was glad that I was around for it. You know what I mean? So part of this article also states that it also kind of brings back some old news about Ryan Coogler really wanting Kraven the Hunter in the series as well. He really kind of pushed him to try to be in the first movie. Also, of course, there are stories that are told in the Black Panther comic book that does detail Shuri, his sister, taking up the mantle of the Black Panther. We talked about that earlier, and I do believe that is the most appropriate place to go and take this story. And I think that would be also talk about a movie that has something to aspire to. I do not envy the people behind this movie and the monumental task that they have to both follow a seminal movie in culture, but also try to figure out how to move forward with the story with your main character actor deceased. Such a monumentous thing that you have to go with, but I hope that they go with the series storyline. I think it makes perfect sense. I think it's the right thing to do, and I also think it's a really another really seminal thing in culture to do. Yes, give his younger sister the mantle of Black Panther. Like, make that a thing. Like, it's on so many levels an incredible cultural feat. And I think if it's done right, and I think they can do it, you know, I think they've got time to breathe. They've got time. That's the thing about tragedy and things like that. It does give you time to really work on the scripts, I hope. Obviously, because they have a start date, like Disney is like, let's go. They're like, let's go, you know. And honestly, got to tell you, the people at Disney, they've been the reason they're so good is because they listen to the original creators, and they actually take things from the comic books that have been said and done and over again from writers who've been writing this stuff. It is incredible to me how DC just does not want to take any strides from actual comic book lore. And the producers of every Disney Marvel movie have proven that they know what they're doing, and I have high hopes that they will knock this out of the park. And I think I trust in their confidence. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I think they're. I mean, you know, obviously they have some sort of plan since they did announce. You know, they have a start date. When you and also a side note that I just had to look up was that it is very confusing to me that his father is named Zuri, Zuri, and his sister's name is Shuri, Shuri. And I'm like, I'm always gonna confuse that. Like, I'm always gonna mess that up. So like, why did we have to do that? Anyway.
Yeah.
Looking it up, just because I looked up the article in 2018 when this is actually out of inverse.com, and they were talking about how they really wanted to in an interview with Yahoo Movies, actually, Coogler said he would have included in the Kraven the Hunter in the film. And I think that was his idea for the character that we did get, that Hunter-esque robber that we did get. It was kind of like, that's what he was kind of feeding from.
Okay.
And so I think, and it wasn't even, and if he really fought hard, I think he could have swung this, because it's not the character in, I didn't read the comic books, but in the version of Black Panther by Christopher Priest, Black Panther fights Kraven the Hunter, but it's not really the original Kraven from the comics that we know of in Spider-Man. It's actually his son who takes on the mantle. So his name's Alyosha Kravinoff. So it's he adopted his father's mantle. And so there is still, I think there's still room for that kind of thing. I don't think they're going to go back in that route, but I'm so glad that you brought this up to make me read this article, Arnie, because what I did see is something that I think could happen. And when they do fight in the comic books, it's because T'Challa is in Brooklyn because he's been exiled from Wakanda and usurped he was usurped by an evil warlord. And he's trying to make his way back home. So he became a vigilante in Brooklyn, where he tried building a criminal network while using his skills to lend a helping hand with the Brooklynites. So he was just a vigilante in Brooklyn. And I thought that was so interesting, being exiled and being there. And that also led me to a quote that Disney said, and I don't, you know, like, just take this as you will, but to speak in, sorry, man, I'm trying to find where I read this.
No, for sure. This is great stuff because it just ties it all back to like the fact that the people behind these movies, they actually go back into the comic books and just use those stories.
Yeah.
Like, why is it so hard for all these comic book movies to not just use the stories? There's literally hundreds of them. Thousands. You know, there's thousands of stories. You got to release a new one every month, every week. Depending on the book every week or every month, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, and like the whole thing, I can't find the actual word, so I'm gonna butcher this, but it's basically that in Wakanda theory, or in the nature of Wakanda, death doesn't always mean death. And they use this quote from an article that I read on Looper. They bring that quote up when talking about Killmonger.
Yeah.
So for somehow, if you can twist things for Killmonger to come back somehow,
Yeah, I've heard that theory as well.
That there's going to be there is continuity issues. I've also read with Killmonger did.
He's dead.
Well, he's dead, but he also did kill all the heart-shaped herb.
Yes.
So like, how is someone gonna get the power?
For sure.
He is dead, but like in Wakanda, like, can you really die in Wakanda? Like, it's a magical place, man. Shit can happen.
It's the truth of comic books. Everyone comes back to life. It just happens. No one's really dead. The only people who are dead in comic books are Batman's parents and Uncle Ben.
Right?
That's
Do you know, as a child, how sad I was when Mary Jane died, and then she came back?
Yeah, she came back.
Wait a minute. In another world? Wait, you were
like many of her came back.
Another universe?
There's like, there's.
We could just do that?
Yeah, that's how it is, man. That's the way comic books flow and function.
One last thing, just funny thing. Huerta is like, I read in this article, you know, he's in Narcos, but then they were like trying to say he was in Spectre. Did you know that?
Yeah. I read that part of the article too. He was totally Inspector.
But I love that he was like, they say he was Inspector, yet when I looked up his IMDb, he is Mexican man on lift.
I believe he's actually Spanish, but shout out to dark-skinned Hispanics. All right, we do not get much representation all around here, and I am okay with that.
man on lift though just really goes. It says. I didn't add that word. It says Mexican man on lift. Just want to reiterate that.
Oh man, that character description can no longer exist in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. That will not be coming back.
Great.
Mexican person 3, 4, or 5 will not be back in any character description.
Sorry, I had to add that before we moved on.
For sure.
It was great.
That's good. All right. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get kind of a 21 Jump Street doubleheader time here. So reportedly, the producers of 21 Jump Street and Channing Tatum are coming together to do a monster movie that will reportedly have Dracula, the Mummy, and that's it, and Frankenstein together, right? So that's Chris Miller, Phil Lord coming together with Channing Tatum to do a monster movie. Now, if you guys know anything about Chris Miller and Phil Lord, like basically everything they touch is gold. It just does, except for some reason Han Solo. If anyone knows what the Han Solo story is, it's kind of a storied thing that people talked about in the whole like movie news verse. But Phil Lord and Chris Miller were tapped to direct the Han Solo movie. 100% point blank. They were literally in production of the Han Solo movie for like a month and a half. Like there was pen on paper, there was cameras rolling, there were dailies. Some of their stuff did make it into the finished product, but they were, for some reason, unceremoniously parted ways with the movie halfway through production, citing creative differences. And then Ron Howard was brought in to finish that. But they did have themselves a year by writing and directing the Spider-Verse, which netted them an Oscar nomination, but an Oscar win, and also giving superhero movies basically their first Oscar. And obviously the first 21 Jump Street was really good. And then the second 21 Jump Street was also really good too. I enjoyed them. They were funny comedies. They were really inventive and had a really good energy. That's the thing about what they do. They also have a really good energy with what they do. So they also did the Lego movie, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, and then obviously Spider-Verse. And I just love the kinetic energy and force that they bring to all their projects. You can really feel the energy. You know what I mean, Drew? You know what I'm talking about? Those films are really, really paced well and taut. You know?
I was looking at just their directorial credits, and like I was looking at like their first major thing was Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs.
Ah,
That,
yes.
that was huge. That was a huge hit.
Yeah.
That went crazy with kids. And then 21 Jump Street came out, and then they directed, or at least Phil Lord, sorry, he directed the pilot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is which is super
Such a
cool.
good show. Such a good show.
Especially to get something like to get that pilot and to make sure it got what was it, 9 seasons, and then to go on and get the Lego Movie right after that, and the Lego Movie was huge.
Oscar nominated as well.
Street.
Yes.
Yeah. 22 Jump Street, which I mean, you know, it did as well as sequels can do.
Absolutely.
The Last Man on Earth, and like that's what he's directed.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
He can literally just drop the mic. I mean, like that's what he's directed so far. We've just named everything.
Yeah.
And that's a great. I think that's a great resume to have. It means you right now you can do wrong. You can do no wrong, because like everything that's been given to you, you've done a great job. You've done more than it's expected of you personally. So that's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to get something like Into the Spider-Verse, which I bet for when it came out, and then how everybody said, what, another Spider-Man movie? I don't get it. Is he the same Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And everybody who watched it just blew up and loved it.
Probably my favorite movie from last year.
It's probably one of the best Spider-Man movies. I'll say it. It's close to being one of the best Spider-Man movies.
I have a nostalgic love for Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
But I honestly kind of agree.
It's hard to say. I know that I know we can get an argument with fans about what is the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But let's just say, I know for sure it will take the best animated take.
For sure, yes.
But
yeah.
I cannot recall a movie where the villains were this cleanly done.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm going to use, is cleanly done, where it's not just a clusterfuck every single time.
No.
And I think we have direct motive in every sense.
Yes.
And I felt that the story was crisp and good, and it was enough for a. Yeah. If you can get a kid to like it,
dude, fantastic I think that was a big writing.
Yeah, the writing was so good that like
it's
kids understood the story better than I did sometimes.
Yeah, such a poignant story. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm excited. I don't care what it is. Who cares about monsters? But like.
Yeah,
Phil Lord. I'll go watch it for Phil Lord.
Phil Lord, Chris Miller. I will watch it for them. I'll watch it for Channing Tatum. I'm all in on this project. I fucking hope that we get. I hope that like I feel like what I really want to see from this is like because of 21 Jump Street, I want to see like the other guys, right, mixed with the monster movie. Like that would be totally cool, right? Like I feel like this is probably going to be an action comedy horror movie. Like I feel like it would only be better if I knew it was a period piece. Like that would be so dope too. But I am super excited for this. It's obviously like a rehash thing that Hollywood does. Do remakes to to definitely make sure that it makes profit. But when you have names like this, Channing Tatum alone could get you a movie made. Phil Miller, Chris Lord, like they get a movie made. They come together to make a remake. It's literally the trifecta of Hollywood making a movie. But I'm all in on it because I just fucking love Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I want to see everything they do. They're up there for me now, like for everything they've done, and I hope this is good. I fucking hope this is good. All right, I'm gonna move it on to the next to last story. Kind of in the same 21 Jump Street vein, it has been revealed through several reporting that there is a 21 Jump Street all-female movie being planned, and currently reports from Deadline are saying that Aquafina and Tiffany Haddish are going to be starring in it. So the part of the synopsis that has been reported states that Tiffany Haddish will play a teacher in the school. No one knows what. I'm not sure what Aquafina is gonna do, but I believe she's gonna be a student. So like this is like all the inklings of stuff that I hope. Again, this is a kind of a rehash thing, not original, but I really like Aquafina. She has done some really, really good work. Not just on the funny bit, like her Crazy Rich Asians she was so funny in that. The Farewell that we talked about before we went on was probably one of the best critically acclaimed films of last year, and part of that was her performance in it. And I just hope all the fucking best for her. I think she's fucking hilarious. Tiffany Haddish, she has been doing a lot of stuff since the last 2 years, and definitely like all really good stuff. She's super funny in everything that she's done. And I just want to see the chemistry that these two come together with, because that if it hits, bro, if it hits off, man, that chemistry, bro, and I bet there's definitely been some chemistry reads between these two. I just fucking hope that this does well, man. What do you think, man? You think this? What are your thoughts on this?
I think, like you were saying earlier, man, she's just Tiffany Haddish has been everywhere, man. I was just kind of taking a look at it. She was in the Drake "Nice for What" video. I mean, like, in the last three, I was just looking at like last 3 years. I was like, she was in Jay-Z music videos.
Yeah.
She was in that Keanu movie. The Michael.
Which one? He did a couple of them the last couple of years.
No. It was actually called Keanu, which with
yeah.
Michael Key and
with the
that
kid
kind of thing.
With the kid.
Like not
Keanu.
the Keanu Reeves, right?
No. Yeah. Keanu.
Like the Last OG, Bad Trip. I mean, they've been all over the place, and she's just she's been crazy busy. I have to say, nothing against her. I have not seen anything that she's really struck my chord with. So like, I hope this changes it. I love Aquafina. Tiffany Haddish has not been on my radar, and I know she's funny. I know she does good work. It's not something that I've personally seen. Now Aquafina, I did watch The Farewell. I thought it was great. I thought as soon as I saw her in Ocean's 8, I thought she was amazing at being the comedic relief. Yeah. She was such a good character.
Dude, she's a force, dude. She does it all. She does it all, man.
And then Crazy Rich Asians. She is the funniest person on Crazy Rich Asians.
Such a good movie too. Solid. Oh yeah, well-rounded. Solid. Yeah, just good rom-com all around.
One of those things where I was like, I don't feel like I wasted my time with it. It was actually I was laughing out loud.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great. I was actually sad that I didn't get to watch it in theaters. I kind of wanted to watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
And then she was also in the Between Two Ferns movie, which she was hilarious in.
For sure.
And Jumanji, your favorite, right?
I do like me some Jumanji. Jumanji's so good. It's so good. It's a fun movie, man. The remake, not the remake, but the kind of the sequel with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jack Black and just a solid. I'm
kind of excited. The two of them are gonna have excellent chemistry.
That's what I'm excited for.
I think this could end up being a really good 21 Jump Street style movie. I'm excited about it. So
the crux of it is their chemistry.
Is Phil Lord not a part of it? I just wanted to make sure.
From the article, it is apparent that they're definitely going to produce.
Great.
Right. They're going to produce for sure. But
you don't want Sylvester out of Rocky. That's what I say.
Yeah. For sure. So the writing team on it is apparently going to be Wendy, a team called Wendy Mollynox and Lindsay Mollynox. So they're sisters. What? Yeah, it's going to be written by sisters. What? Okay. Oh, so they're a sister duo that has written for Bob's Burgers, and apparently they're also helping with the Deadpool 3 script, and they've done some Sims video game stuff, which is interesting because we're about to talk about Deadpool 3. I am intrigued about their chemistry. That is the biggest thing about this. I want to see what that looks like. I think it's going to be, if it hits hard, it's going to come right out of the screen. It's going to be fun, just just fucking hilarious. Like, if their chemistry hits good, it's gonna be a fantastic movie. Like, that's all you need, right? We were talking. We did a review on Head of State, and when Bernie Mac and Chris Rock came into the movie, it just popped off in a different way. And I just really hope that the chemistry rocks it out on this one. So like full support on this, and I hope it's good. Hope it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're ready to move on to the final story. Unless you got anything else, my man.
No. That's it.
All right. So, final story of the day: Deadpool, ladies and gentlemen, from a lot of different sources, it is confirmed to be and still rated R coming out of Disney. Now, it's important to state here: a lot of people are of the mind that Disney does not release R-rated movies. That is not true. The way that they actually released R-rated movies was through smaller subsidiary production houses, such as Miramax, Touchstone. Now, if you know those studios, you now know that a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies are released through Miramax. And if you didn't know that now, if you didn't know this then, you know this now. Disney owned Miramax during those times, so Disney has made Quentin Tarantino movies. They just didn't release R-rated movies under the Disney vernacular. And at this point, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think it's not going to be an MCU movie. And like those movies, when you see those movies go on, it doesn't actually give you the big white palace that rises up and the music with the Disney. No, it just literally just says Marvel movie, right? So like I always knew that it was going to be rated R. Because I knew that Disney does do rated R movies. It's not like they haven't done it before. But the fact that it seems as though this is going to go full steam ahead with an R rating, I think under the MCU vernacular is a definite testament to the fact that this property is just that good, and they're just going to leave the things the way that they should be left. How well did you like the first Deadpool, Drew?
I loved both of them immensely. I thought they were great. I thought the story was good. I really loved the drama that Ryan Reynolds brought beforehand of making sure that he did justice to the Deadpool character. We all know the Wolverine story of how he hated that character.
Absolutely.
And stuff.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that I think it was
so bad.
Yeah, it was so bad.
So bad.
I mean, Deadpool, I remember the drama, and I think you do too, is like when the Deadpool's domestic run ended after 126 days, it had 363.1 million. This was one of the highest at the time. It was the highest grossing R-rated film worldwide to ever open.
Yeah, it hit hard, dude.
It was the biggest deal that an R-rated movie with a superhero in it could make money and could make things very intriguing for everybody. And then people followed suit with things like, wasn't there a Marvel movie that was R-rated?
I believe there was, I don't know. Yes, Wolverine. Wolverine was rated R.
Yes.
Yes, the Wolverine. It's not the Wolverine. Sorry, Logan. The third last Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
Logan was rated R.
Logan, when Logan came out, it was said to take that precedent. You know what I mean? And then and then I believe Birds of Prey followed suit as well.
It did. It was rated R.
And so that they and then obviously Deadpool 2
and Joker. You can actually say that too.
So the DC universe has gotten wind of this.
Yes, and this was definitely all from definitely Deadpool helped break that mold, along with the really good reception that Logan got too.
I will say, to get to this point, I just don't want us to forget about Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2.
Kick-Ass.
Because those are phenomenal movies. I think everybody will agree that those were phenomenal movies. And without Kick-Ass 2 here, we wouldn't have gotten to the point of Deadpool. Yeah. And it's just because we needed something. And I can say that for a lot of things, honestly. Without Kick-Ass, we wouldn't have this kind of reject superhero phenomena craziness that we do have. And I don't think we would have what's the show on Hulu right now?
Oh, they're
Brother,
the boys.
The
There's
Boys. Yes.
there's the boys on Amazon, which is fucking great. Also,
Yeah, yeah,
Seth Rogen produced. Seth Rogen's gonna rule Hollywood one day because he's producing a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff right now.
Yeah, but
But
we wouldn't
yeah,
have and I'm so sorry that I don't know the names right now, but like, we wouldn't have The Boys from Amazon or the Netflix show about the other kind of like other superhero kind of type show that's on Netflix. And like without those things gaining some popularity, I don't think we would have had those gaining
for
popularity
sure, for
without
sure.
Kick-Ass.
Kick Ass definitely. Yes, just a seminal experiment, right? In just like
Yep.
absurdity, and it broke the mold. It was like a movie that definitely took the superhero genre and just like broke it and said, "Nah, let's do something different, yo. Let's make it realistic pop. Let's make a realistic superhero movie that takes place in reality, and make it real fucking just wacky as hell." 100%, the great points that you brought up there, man. I do want to point out that it is also pretty much reported that, like we said earlier, the all female 21 Jump Street being written by the I think it's Molyneux sisters.
Yeah.
It is reported that this movie, Deadpool 3, will also be written by those sisters.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, somebody really likes these guys. Someone like it is looking like they are.
I mean, have you watched Bob's Burgers?
Yes, of course,
Bob's
yes.
Burgers is amazing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Apparently yeah.
They're gonna be. I mean, like, you got to think about like the people, the original people who we have from The Simpsons. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know that like one of them was Conan O'Brien. Look
Yes.
at what he became.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
also he's shutting down his talk show. He's moving over to HBO Max and doing some other kind of. He's David Lettermaning it now.
Letterman had too much success, man. So
Yeah,
it's gonna.
yeah.
There's also rumors, and I don't know if this is true. You tell me. Actually, I heard Jon Stewart might be coming behind a desk again.
Yes, I heard that too. I think it's either Apple or HBO Max, but I think he's also starting to do. He's gonna do some kind of topical show again. Yeah, he's getting back on there. I'm excited for that.
I think this David Letterman, this new series from David Letterman, he had some controversial, not controversial, but he had some amazing. I mean, Obama, Kim Kardashian is the one that shows up on Netflix all the time.
Yeah,
And Dave Chappelle. There was some really good stuff. And
yeah, for sure.
I always say you got to thank the successor. Like I've been preaching this whole thing, and you got to thank comedian cars and.
Comedians
and
in cars
Seinfeld.
getting coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to thank Seinfeld because without Seinfeld, I feel like David Letterman just like popped on the first episode of Seinfeld. Was like, "Are you kidding me? I can do this."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. A really good one. Kind of a side note here. The David Letterman Netflix show, the one with Dave Chappelle is really good. Dude, Dave Chappelle's just a shit when he's on stuff, but the interview with him is really, really spectacular. For as far as Deadpool 3, man, I'm glad that it's rated R. I know it was gonna be that way. I'm excited to see these sisters, who are
Yes.
like apparently killing it in the scene. Like people like their writing. They're about to do some really major tentpole movies here. I'm excited to see what they do. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. It is Molyneux.
I feel like it has to be Molyneux, right? Like
Molyneux, the Molyneux
like
sisters.
like Molly New. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Molyneux.
It has to be around there.
Yeah.
I don't think you were doing a bad job. I think it was.
Yeah. But
They have
like,
a name like this.
shout out to them for having a fucking solid news cycle, and fucking getting on the scene, bro. I'm excited for. I'm truly excited for more female voices to get into this into the major scene, man. Because it's just all about a diversity of thought, man. The more diversity of thought you bring into anything, it just gets better. And I just like fucking I'm happy we're living in that world now where like Hollywood is just like inclusion, baby. It's happening and we're doing it. Like fuck yeah, fuck yeah. On that note,
Does Deadpool like? It's not Fox that's releasing the Deadpool,
no,
right?
no. Disney bought Fox. It is now Fox Studios is now owned by Disney.
Thank
So
you. Just because a year ago, however we say it, the Molyneux sisters signed a 3-year overall deal with 20th Century Fox. So this could very well be under that contract. So the
Okay.
duo, from my research right here, man, like the duo signed a contract with 20th Century Fox, and I bet you because Disney inherited that contract,
Yes.
they are going to make money off of it. They're not going to shy away. They got 1 year left. They're going to milk it for all it. They're going to Drake the crap out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
so,
Yeah, for sure. Dude, good for them, man. Good for them. And like that, yeah, that, I know that's kind of hard to kind of realize, but yes, 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney, which is now how we are going to get X-Men from, because they're going to be entering the MCU in some capacity as well. But like, so the way the deal worked out, they bought and are now control of all of the movie properties and all of the TV properties. The only thing that they didn't retain is Fox Sports, and I don't think Fox News is part of it either. So Fox News and Fox Sports are all still part of the old leadership, right? But all of the Fox Television stuff and all of the Fox movie stuff is now owned by Disney. So yeah, man, I think we did it, man. That was fucking.
Do you mind if I add one more thing, just
No,
because?
not at all, dude. What's
so
up?
sorry, man, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Bring it.
This
What's up?
felt good to wrap on Deadpool, but because you had mentioned earlier, I just wanted to just talk about it for a brief second. That Dave Chappelle's show getting pulled. That news broke out
Oh,
today.
yeah.
And I just wanted to clarify some stuff because I'm sure a lot of people are just looking at the headline and like listening to it, but like the Dave Chappelle said something and it hit somewhere close to some CEOs' hearts when he came out after Election Day and talked about how he was not getting paid from Netflix or HBO Max, and he was unaware that they were going to re-put his show on those two streaming services. But he signed a contract with Viacom at the time from Comedy Central that says that he could have stuff through cable networks or streaming services, and his syndication would never get paid out. So that's why he kind of made the joke originally from his I don't know if you heard it was a really good joke. I will not do his justice right here, but it was like, I wish my great grandfather could see me now, because I've been bought and sold more times than he was. And like, I was like, oh my God. Like,
God.
I couldn't believe, and the way he dropped the mic at the end of it, it was a good punchline. It was a great joke.
Yeah.
But he's vocally been upset on multiple stand-ups of his, local stand-ups that he does in clubs and stuff, that he has never seen a dime for them re-airing his work of art, his show. And so Netflix does have a deal worth tens of millions of dollars for him to produce other comedy content. That's why he came out with something like Sticks and Stones on Netflix. So they do have a year-long special, a year contract. I don't know how many years it is, but it's a couple of years worth of contracts with him to produce content for them. Out of respect, Netflix went ahead and pulled his show off for making those comments.
That's important to state,
because they don't want to cancel a quote unquote. They don't want to cancel Chappelle. I want to say, and I will read this from the article that I'm reading. If you want to go read your own article, I don't care. But I will read this. Netflix, however, also has a lucrative contract with Chappelle for comedy specials and other programming that started back in 2016 that is worth tens of millions of dollars. The Wrap reports that Chappelle's ongoing relationship with Netflix is why the streaming service decided to honor his request and pull his old show from the platform.
Dope. Just dope.
As of this article, the show is still available on CBS All Access and HBO Max as of Tuesday. I think now after that, HBO Max pulled it. So I want to say that it's more out of respect for the artists
Right.
I'm not somebody trying to cancel the artist.
This
I think it's very important to say.
it cannot be understated the monumental shift that this is. There has never in the history of the entertainment industry been a conglomerate the size of Netflix that has ever bent to the whim of in this fashion when it comes to a contract like this. Netflix has a contract with Viacom to show Chappelle Show. It is legally binding. Dave Chappelle has no power here. No power unless he wants to just sue Netflix and Viacom to pull the show.
No, and he's always made statements like this. You know what I mean? They're gonna make money. He's always made statements like this.
Yeah.
You can tell he was just a little angry, and you
For
can
sure.
tell you can tell that he wants to continue to have an ongoing relationship with Netflix.
Yeah. This shit there's never been ever in the history, probably in like the histories of law, has ever been this kind of thing happening. A company being like, you know what, Dave Chappelle, probably worth more than our like fucking agreement with Viacom we made like 10 years ago. You know, like that is just...
And I want to read you this quote that I just saw. Yeah. It's like, Chappelle references his request to Netflix by saying, and I open quote, "I called them and I told them that this makes me feel bad." And you want to know what they said? They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. He also called the decision to stream Chappelle Show.
Wow.
Fencing stolen goods is a reference that he made towards it. And you should go read this article. There's a long paragraph of everything that Netflix released as a statement to this. But I just wanted to clarify, Arnie, I really didn't want to kill your... I thought the ending with Deadpool 3 was great. Yeah. But I felt really strongly about this. And so I just wanted to mention it.
It's all good, man. No, it's a great thing to pull up. It's I mean, it's not necessarily movie news, but it is definitely an industry of entertainment type thing, and it definitely was worth a mention. And it is a monumental thing for this to happen. It is the first time that a talent has been able to make this kind of thing happen. It also kind of speaks to Netflix and its understanding of talent, and like there's a reason people love working with Netflix, and this is part of it. And I gotta say it this way because it's kind of the same thing. There's also a reason, like this is the same reason Disney also does so well with things, because they understand that the talent and the artists are really the front, like the front of all of the artistic power. And this is the first time that a big conglomerat's been like, you know what, yeah, fuck it, man. We like you better than them. Like we'll take it off. Kudos Netflix. Kudos. I don't know why people don't talk about Netflix the same way they talk about Amazon and Apple. They really have done a lot on disrupting the entertainment industry, and this is big. This is big for entertainment
because they have not done enough wrong for them to be talked about, whereas the other companies that you've mentioned, don't have necessarily the greatest reputation for certain things.
For sure.
But we'll hope. I mean, we've mentioned Netflix. For different reasons the last 3 times podcasting, so like it's for obvious, I think it's obvious reasons. They're good people, so I'm glad they did that. And I think that's it. I think we did it, Arnie.
We did it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Kinetic Impressions. I am Arnie.
I'm Andy D.
Andy D. Please find us on Kinetic Impressions at any podcasting platform known to man and humanity. Kinetic Impressions. Please subscribe to us on this YouTube channel as well. It'd be so nice. And you can find all of my stuff at arniediaz.com or The Arnie Diaz Show, also on any other podcasting platform known to humanity. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful night. Please, ladies and gentlemen, go watch a movie. Tell them to watch a movie. Drew.
Go watch a movie.
Go watch a movie.